Hello, dear friends. TGIF. That means thank God it's Friday if you're working. The weekend starts tomorrow. So today is Friday, September the 5th, 2025, and it's coming up to midday in Europe here. My name is Clive Thompson, and I'm here to tell you what's going on in the stock markets this morning and, of course, last night. So let's start with the UK bond market. So, as you know, a couple of days ago, there was a bit of a crisis in the UK bond market where the 30-year yields were spiralling out of control. Let's have a quick look at that now and see how it's looking. So there we are. So the 30-year bond went up to about 5.75, 5.7%, and it's come back to 5.56%. The yields come down, it means the price of the bond has risen. That basically means the crisis is over for now, or the panic's finished. The reason for that was relatively weak jobs data, which was coming from a company called Automatic Data Processing. They're a company in the USA which processes payrolls, and they reported that the unemployment number of people who were on the payroll went up by 54,000 in the month, which was regarded as a relatively weak number, and it's probably giving us an advance warning for the jobs data, which is going to come out later today. That's called the non-farm payrolls. Now, historically, non-farm payrolls, they've delivered good numbers, and usually they delivered good numbers because they revised downwards the previous month. That always makes the current month look better than it really is. But people have got wise to this. This has been going on for years and years. People have got wise to the manipulation of the numbers, or the seeming manipulation of the numbers. Maybe it's just an error in the data collection. So if they revise down the previous month's figure to make this month's figure look that much better, I think the market will see that coming, and it'll be ridiculed quite widely. But if the jobs data shows that the number of jobs is slowing, as we just saw with the automatic data processing number, then it's almost a dead cert, 100% certainty, that the Federal Reserve will cut in September, on the 17th of September. So that's the expectation at the moment. We can have a look at, have we got the Fed Watch? Yes, let's look at the Fed Watch. You see there, currently, I'll just refresh that just in case anything's changing, but you can see that it's currently forecast to be 99.4% probability that rates will be cut on the 17th of September there. And the chance of a no cut at all is less than 1%, 0.6%. Okay, so let's come back to this. In the UK, the Bank of England has said it's being cautious. Andrew Bailey has basically said, or talked down the possibility of further cuts. So the market is not seeing any more cuts this year, and probably not even until next April. We'll see if that changes. In UK politics, we've got the autumn budget coming up in November, 26th of November, and Rachel Reeves is facing a lot of pressure. She might have to raise taxes or cut spending, or maybe think of something else, but basically the UK is finding that the black hole in terms of its overspending is just too much. Elsewhere in the world, bond market yields basically came down. Even Japan, where there was a big spike, that market came down as well. Let's just have a quick look at the Japanese 30-year yield. Right, I'm going to bring that back up. There we see the 30-year yield, which was at nearly, that's the United States, sorry, big pardon. Let's look at Japan 30-year. Yeah, there's the Japanese one. So it was at 3.3. It's come back to 3.2% roughly, calming down a little bit. So job openings, which were announced from the automatic data processing company, were below expectations of 54,000. The market was expecting 65,000, and it is the lowest number of job openings since last year, which is basically saying that unemployment might be rising. Number of people working isn't rising as fast as it should. Another factor we had a few days ago was the fact that the number of job vacancies is dropping. Now that might be something to do with artificial intelligence, because possibly many firms which would normally hire students and graduates to come in at the bottom are finding that the work at the bottom can be done by artificial intelligence, and perhaps they don't need quite so many people now. What else is going on in the world? Let's just have a look. We've got global markets. US stocks hit another record high last night. The S&P 500 closed at an all-time peak. The Nasdaq was within 6 points of a record, and as of this morning, Europe is rising. So we'll go and have a look at the indexes and see how they're doing live here. Let's start with, I don't know, maybe France. I'll bring that up. So let's just make that into a very short-term 5-day chart. So France, no big change. DAX in Germany rising gradually a little bit from the lows. Let's look at the European top 50. Yes, they're up since yesterday. The 4th today is the 5th, so they're rising. What else have we got? FTSE 100 in the UK. Up a little bit. FTSE's up 8 points. In Asia, we had the Hang Seng index was up 1.4%. In Japan, the Nikkei index was up 0.4%. And what have we got in the futures coming up? The Nasdaq futures are showing a rise, and the S&P futures are showing a rise. Yeah, so we're probably going to get higher stock market opening today. Let's go and have a look at the gold and silver markets here. Let's go here to the gold market. So let's start by looking at silver in dollars. So silver price, it did peak a few days ago at around the 41.5 level nearly. It's now 40.81. But on a long-term basis, it's still very strong. If we look at the 5-year chart, you can see it's straight up. But shorter term, short term it's still up. But if we look, just move that there. But on a 5-day basis, it's heading down a bit. Yeah, so we're there. That's today. Yesterday was at 41.40. Now it's at 40.79ish. And let's have a look at gold. XAU USD, here it is. Same story for gold. Gold peaked at around 3,570 something yesterday. It's now around 3,551, slightly down, but not a lot. In fact, it's down $5 or 0.2%. So the Fed drama continues to roll on. As you know, that Lisa Cook, one of the Federal Reserve governors, was dismissed by President Trump. So she's in court fighting for her removal. He's also hoping to appoint Stephen Miran as a replacement for the lady who left a few weeks ago. He's obviously in Trump's camp when it comes to interest rate cuts. And of course, with Trump's men being put into the Federal Reserve, potentially, the independence of the Federal Reserve is now a question mark for many people. Now, Jerome Powell has faced repeated calls for his resignation by President Trump. His term finishes next year, and they're now interviewing 11 candidates for the new chairman of the Federal Reserve. One of the leading candidates is Christopher Waller, who is very much in Trump's camp again when it comes to proposing lower interest rates. On the technology front, let's go and have a look at how tech shares were doing yesterday. It should be a sea of green, I think. So let me go to maps here. There we are. So yes, you can see lots of green here. What this is basically saying is that the market is and still is bullish. Nvidia's up 0.61, Microsoft 0.52, Google up 0.68, Meta up 1.57, Amazon amazingly up 4.29%. So that's doing well. We'll just have a look around the world and see what the world markets are doing. You can see the world markets. Canada is green, Ireland is green. Green means up. China a little bit of red because Alibaba dropped 4%. But Taiwan Semiconductor is doing well out of Taiwan. Netherlands up well, and Brazil. So global markets are broadly speaking higher. And we'll look at the futures now. Let's go to the futures and see what the futures are showing. Yeah, so the futures are showing positive stock markets. There's nothing special. Platinum is looking good. It's 1,387 on the future. Copper is looking good too. Now, let's just have a look at one story which broke yesterday, and that was the story that Broadcom is going to manufacture chips with OpenAI. These chips would be, I suppose, competition for Nvidia. And what this does show is that as time marches on, there'll be more and more competitors in the AI market, which will weaken the position of various companies. So let's just have a look at Broadcom and see how it's doing. There we are. So look at that. Broadcom jumping 1.2. Actually, no, that's not 1.2. That's a lot more in the aftermarket, in the secondary market. It's going from the close of 306 to 336. Looks like a 10% jump, something like that. Nearly 10%. Now, another stock which went up a lot was American Eagle. And what it shows us is what's moving markets. Basically, it's boobs. So they've had this advertising campaign with Sydney Sweeney, that lovely looking lady. And yes, it's boosted sales. And as you can see, the stock is up yesterday 38% when they announced their results. So, her appearing in their advertisements seems to have boosted sales. And it says American Eagle stock surged after reinstating fiscal guidance of 255 to 65 million for Q2. Q2 earnings per share hit 45 cents, surpassing estimates, etc. So basically good news for American Eagle, thanks to what's moving the market, which is boobs. Now we turn to another one, which is Tether. Tether seems to be interested in gold. They own a lot of gold already. Tether is the cryptocurrency. It's a stable coin, which is used to buy other cryptos like Bitcoin or so forth. But it appears that they've got a lot of gold and they've got huge profits of $5.7 billion in the first half. So that's a huge profit. And they've announced they're making an investment into now gold mining companies. So they're looking at gold mining companies. The first one they're buying is called Elemental Altus, but they're saying they're looking at the market as a whole and will buy others. And that's basically all I've got for you today. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. If you like, you can give me a thumbs up, and if you want to hear more of these market reports, just subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everybody.